Hello class, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to graph a plane in a three-dimensional grid. Let's begin. So the graph of a times x plus b times y plus c times z is equal to d is a plane if a, b, and c are not all 0. Okay, so what do we mean by that last statement there? Well, let's assume that a is equal to 0. What will happen is that since a is equal to 0, the term a times x is also equal to 0. So this resulting expression is still a plane. What happens if 2 are equal to 0? So let's say b and c are equal to 0. Well, if b and c are equal to 0, then the second term and the third term also equal 0. And that equation, highlighted in purple, is still a plane. If all three are equal to 0, what you're left with is d is equal to 0, and that is not a plane. Okay, so now let's go ahead and graph a plane. So we're given the equation 2x plus y plus 2z is equal to 4, and we want to graph this plane in the three-dimensional grid that I have over here to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by labeling the axes. And the blue axis over here is the x-axis. The orange axis is y. And the vertical axis is z. So the way I look at it is the following. So I look at it as the xy plane is on the floor. And the z-axis is where two walls meet. So this area right here is the floor, and then you have your two walls. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph this plane in this little area right here. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we're going to find the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the z-intercept. So I'm going to start with the x-intercept. And to find the x-intercept, we're going to let y equal 0, and we're going to let z equal 0. So it looks like the x-intercept is 2, 0, 0. Next, we'll do the y-intercept. So that's where x is equal to 0 and z is equal to 0. So it looks like the y-intercept is 0, 4, 0. And finally, we're going to find the z-intercept. And that is where x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. So it looks like the z-intercept is 0, 0, 2. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the 3D grid, and I'm going to place tick marks that are parallel to the x-axis all along the y-axis. Then I'm going to place tick marks along the x-axis that are parallel to the y-axis. And then I'm going to place tick marks horizontally along the z-axis. The x-intercept is 2, 0, 0. So I'm going to place a point along the x-axis at 2, 0, 0. The y-intercept is 0, 4, 0. So I'm going to place a point at 0, 4, 0, and then along the z-axis at 0, 0, 2. So now I'm going to connect these three coordinates to make a triangle, and the plane is this area of the triangle. Now the plane does extend further through this wall and through this wall here and through this wall over here. It does extend into each of those different areas, but we're only worried about graphing this plane in the positive section of the 3D grid.